After failing to not win the DFB Pokal in season number 13, Dad had big plans for the new year, and that started by signing Cristiano Ronaldo, now aged 35 years old, for £27 million. I was looking for a more creative striker, and I found Maxi Gomez, who was on loan at Sporting last season, and I signed him from Arsenal. Meanwhile, Dad was also going back to his old club and putting in a bid for James Rodriguez at Manchester United. But he wasn't going to stop there was more. As Dad's next target was Sergio Ramos, whose experience could be crucial for Bayern Munich, and he's still an excellent player and wouldn't cost too much money for the short-term project. Dad also decided to switch around his tactical style of things to be more solid in the cup this year with a 4-2-3-1 variation. The Euros were being played this summer, and it was victory this time round for the Dutch, who defeated Spain in the final. A cracking game too, as they won 3-2 in Edinburgh, and a lot of international roles popped up because of this. But with the season drawing closer, I was targeting a defensive midfielder, and Blaise Matuidi was the chosen option, as he fitted in perfectly with my remaining budget. And before you know it, Dad's first test of the season was against Gladbach. And it didn't go well, as a mistake from kickoff led to the only goal of the game for Gladbach. I had an early test too against rivals Roma, who won the Europa League last season in the UEFA Super Cup. There was an early goal too in this game, but it was me who was celebrating. Another followed in the second half when Joe Moutinho found the net, and all Roma could do was find a consolation goal late on. Dad, you signed the legendary Cristiano Ronaldo.
This is the first big signing for me, and I didn't even have to spend a lot of money to get him.
No,
I was good pleased with this.
Yeah, he's 35,
Yeah.
but he's still absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
£27 million after what a career he's had at AC Milan, really.
Yeah. Done you a favour as well, I think.
You actually have, to be fair. He was caused me a lot of trouble. I mean, last
Yeah.
season, 19 goals, 17 assists.
I'm hoping he does that for me.
Yeah. I'm hoping he does, because...
I did him in about buying him because obviously I wanted AC Milan to stay good in your league, but
yeah, that's...
at the end of the day, I'm more interested in myself and trying to get this cup.
As soon as
in the
you
bank, so-
buying it, I was like...
Yeah.
Jackpot. Because they are still causing me trouble. I mean, Louis van Gaal hasn't gone anywhere.
No, that's
there
the
was
problem.
so many jobs that popped up across the summer after the Euros, and I
Yeah.
thought the one job I could have done with coming up was the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And they ended up winning the whole thing. So Louis van Gaal will stay put as the AC Milan manager, but that's fine. Okay, he haunted you for a while. He's now going to haunt me instead. But that's not the only signing you made, Dad. You also brought in a couple of recognisable faces as well. James Rodriguez from Manchester United, your old player.
Yeah, I need an attacking midfielder because I lost what was it called?
Ozil
for free. Didn't want
Yeah.
interested in signing a new contract.
Yeah,
so.
he's gone to Juve. He was
Yeah.
in my league again.
So,
I think
that's a good
£83
replacement.
million after buying him at Manchester United, remember. So there we go. Jose Gaia, which is an old left back that I used to have at Valencia. Really good still.
Right,
Comes in
weak.
as your
I had a weak
first
left
back,
side
yeah.
of my defence, so that just strengthened that up really.
Yeah. And then Sergio Ramos, 30 million.
Another person, a legend that I'd get in for
Yeah.
quite cheap as well. So, and he just sort of like sews up my my centre backs.
It gives you a lot of options because he also plays very well in that right back slot
That's
as
right,
well. And then we could, Jorginho, and you're always buying an Arsenal player. There's Jorginho.
He's an actual as a reserve one there. Really.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll get into my first team, but he's good to have without any injuries. So.
And then finally, the only name that you might not recognise is Demarlio Watt, who is an English new gen that's at Aston Villa, left-sided centre-back. We've both had a look at him the last couple of years, haven't we?
We have.
But now he's 22 and he's got just a little bit better at Aston Villa.
And he's straight into my first team as well.
Yeah, and he goes into your first team. He's played quite well and even scored a goal.
beside him, so looking good.
But yeah, you've actually sold £80 million worth of players. A lot of players went out for around about £10 million, like squad signings. And you kind of just like bumped the ones that were in the first team down a bit, to be fair.
That's
and you
right,
changed your tactic to a 4-2-3-1.
Try to be a little bit more sort of full in the midfield rather than being full attack, even though they're still good going forward, like with the wingers and all that. But that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. So obviously you've got one thing to do this year, mainly, is the DFB Pokal. Of course, you can still win the UEFA Cup, but I think your team might be too good for that, depending on your group stage, of course. But that's your starting 11
My defence is really good with the guy sat right in front of them as well.
Yeah.
I'm quite good at defence now, so I mean he's world class as well.
Yeah, he's absolutely
playing him in the anchor role as well.
Yeah.
So he'll just sit there, and hopefully I'm good going forward then.
Yeah. You lost the DFB Super Cup.
I can't beat this team, can I?
Against Gladbach. You've got to hope they get eliminated from the DFB Pokal, because else you're screwed.
It's always one team. Whichever league I go to, is one team, and they're not usually it's not one of the best teams. It's just an average team.
Just a bogey team.
It's just a bogey team. And
Yeah.
Gladbach is my team.
Yeah. You scraped through the first round, 14-0 against Lot. You didn't even change like your style. You kept your strongest 11
strongest
out
side out for that one game. Yeah.
Beat Werder Bremen, first game of the Bundesliga.
Yeah, with that.
Away from home. That's
Home
your
goal
main
as well.
rivals. Yeah, from a player you almost went and signed to be fair. Bochum 4-1, but then a 2-2 draw against Cologne, which you went ahead in the 92nd minute, and then conceded in the 93rd. From James McCarthy, of all people, scored the winner there, or the equaliser. So your Champions League group, as we mentioned, I think you should be fine going through. Chelsea's in it, but Ajax and Anderlecht, I think you're a lot better than them.
Should cruise past that,
Yeah, so the UEFA Cup probably is not an option for you this year. No. But the DFB Pokal, your next round is against Duisburg, so you should be going through that. Although they are in the Bundesliga, it's a team that you should be beating. Okay, now, Lazio. I played Roma in my first game of the season, which was the UEFA Super Cup, and I defeated them. But let's have a look at the transfers before we get there. We both had a challenging start. I let go of £28 million worth of players. I even lost Andrea Lucci, which I did not want to do, but he had already signed to go to Arsenal, unfortunately. So one good season with me, and then he's off. But I think I've replaced him quite well. Now, I didn't sign anybody at the end of the season or anything like that, so it's come on. Or it's just these four here. £184 million. Lucas Torreira, who is an Arsenal player. Who was an Arsenal player anyway. Centre midfielder, plays in that Mazzala role quite well. Comes deep to get balls, something that I really like. Because I've changed around some of the roles and changed my tactic a little bit. Maxi Gomez from Arsenal again, £44 million. This is a very good deep line forward. Something that I might actually use this season. He's a non-EU player. It was a risk, but it was a risk I was willing to take. Jafar Case, £55 million, a Dutch centre-back who is good with both feet, leading in the Serie A as a centre-back and has just won the Euro. So it was a good signing as well to bring in Jafar. Near Jafar? No, he was only at Palermo.
They're getting worse.
Blaise Matuidi was the last signing. I made £35 million. He's 33, but...
He just listened to one of your jokes as well, the looks of it.
Yeah, he wasn't happy. I was like, did you have to come from Jafar? Near Jafar? He's just like... So he joined from Juve. So I was surprised that they actually let me sign him, really. Yeah. 2 players there, well, 3 players actually from my league. I'm just weakening the rest of the teams. So that's my plan. Tactics, as I said, I changed it ever so slightly. On the right-hand side, I got rid of my right winger, and now I play 3 up front. Now, it does put Mbappe in that centre-forward on support role. I might change it to a DLF, and then hopefully it might change it around slightly. It doesn't change it around slightly, but never mind. I was hoping it would put the Maxi Gomez in there, maybe put Mbappe either side. But that's fine. These 3 strikers alone are deadly, so we're all good. Yeah. Jonathan Mikel goes in the Mazzala role, which I've added in to kind of fill that gap now on the right-hand side. I'm still keeping the inverted wing-back on defend in Di Silvestri to kind of keep a 3 at the back, an inverted wing-back on support to kind of help the midfield on the left-hand side because Sané is still out there. Now, my schedule so far, I beat Roma, as I mentioned, 2-1 in that UEFA Super Cup, which is great. They're my rivals. They won the UEFA Cup last season, so it was a great European conquest for Rome last year. Then we've got Fiorentina 7-0 at the start of the season, but then I go and draw to Parma, which it's not great. Mbappe had a pinch and equaliser in the 90th minute, and Rimini 4-1 against them. Now my Champions League group is a little bit harder. We've got Real Madrid, we've got Porto, and we've got Dortmund.
I think Dortmund are top of the league in my league at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, we've only played 3 games, I think it is. But
yeah.
So that's not an easy task.
Not at all. No.
But then you've won both trophies already, so
yeah,
you could do with being knocked out straight away.
I am the current holders of the Champions League, 4-time winners. Beat some chump from Munich last year, 4-0 in the final. There we go. So I just need the league title this season. I've already dropped points, which isn't great. AC Milan haven't, and they've won 4 out of 4, including being Inter Milan and Fiorentina 5-0. So
I need them to carry on.
It's not been great for me at the start of this season, and I'm looking at their side. They've obviously lost Cristiano Ronaldo, but they spent £142 million on this man here, who is a right winger, which basically replaces him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, great. I'd rather have just kept Cristiano Ronaldo. They also last year bought Jamal Musiala off you during the January, who's turned out to be quite a good 17-year-old as well. So they are like well on course to just continue to be amazing next season without skipping a beat, and I really hope that that's not the case. But anyway, let's see what happens throughout this season. Despite so many bad results in the Bundesliga with 5 draws and 2 losses, Dad's Munich side managed to stay in first place with 2 points ahead of Leverkusen. But the bad news came in the game we joked about, as Dad conceded late against Duisburg. And somehow they failed to score in the 90 minutes, losing 1-0 in the DFB Pokal second round. My form in the lead was stinking as well, and it meant I was trailing in 5th place, but surprisingly, only 6 points off the top spot. Carrying on into the new year, Dad's form got a lot worse, and he even dropped down the table to 4th place and 5 points behind Leverkusen. And Dad's position at the club began to look precarious with the threat of getting the boot if things don't change. I find myself trailing my old team Valencia in the Champions League round of 16 3-0 in the first leg. But the second leg was absolutely insane as we managed to pull back an almighty comeback, scoring some fantastic goals at home and even putting ourselves 4-3 up on aggregate in the 84th minute from Kylian Mbappe. Until the 93rd minute, Valencia equalised, sending the game into extra time right at the death. But it was the French striker yet again who managed to complete the comeback a second time, scoring extra time, the winner to send us through. And in the quarterfinals, we destroyed our fierce rivals Roma, as Dad's Bayern Munich was also eliminated, and we pushed through to the semi-final too, meaning yet another Champions League final, this time against Man City. But Dad had other problems as he failed to win the Bundesliga or the DFB Pokal. And that meant the board were calling him in to talk about his job, a make or break meeting. But somehow he survived another day and another season. Anyway, it's Champions League final time for me yet again. And the final was very one-sided, and unfortunately, it wasn't in my favour, as Manchester City scored 2 goals in quick succession and kept plugging away for more. Mbappe did find the net, but the day was not Lazio's to celebrate. Champions League final yet again, Dad, but this time I couldn't do it.
Yeah, unusual for you to lose one like that.
Yeah, I think that is the second Champions League final that I've lost, but I've already won 4.
Yeah.
So but I think overall it was actually a bad season for me because I was never really in contention for Serie A.
No.
I did, however, win the Coppa Italia again. Competition I didn't need to win. That's 2 times for that one. But again,
You
already
just love
completed
winning
it.
Cups, don't you?
Just very good at winning the cups. Just cannot win the league. A bit of a way off as well. 9 points behind Juventus. And I did mention, didn't I?
Yeah.
Juve could cause a bit of
Yeah.
trouble. Kyle Jr. was there. Yeah, there's a couple of players that have gone to Juve. Kai Havertz being one of
You
them.
look like you were like 6 points off top of the league most of the season, didn't you?
Yeah, I was teetering around 3rd and 4th for a long period of time, really. Never even got into first place once.
You had a bad mid-season there, about it, didn't you? Really?
Yeah. AC Milan dropped off, and that's where Juventus then took over, and they dominated the rest of the season. AC Milan weren't as good as what they were last year, even though they lost Ronaldo and replaced him with a £122 million player, whatever he was. But still, they were still a bit of a threat, and the games against them weren't well. You know, it wasn't like a fantastic time for me. I lost there against Juve 2-0. AC Milan in the league 5-2 there. It was a couple of tricky games towards the end of the season. And earlier on in the season, I actually beat them in the Super Cup. It's just annoying that obviously meant nothing. I did win in the home fixture 3-0 in the league.
And then you lost to Roma right after that.
But then I lose to Roma and I lose to Messina, and it's like, okay, you can see why I struggled so much. Inter Milan, the game before the Super Cup, was a loss as well. And there was just a tricky period around February where I dropped too many points and put myself out of contention for the Serie A. Never mind. At least I was safe in my job, because Dad was not. I mean, Manchester City, by the way, have just won the quadruple.
Yeah.
Which is mental, considering they don't have the financial backing that they do in real life. They've actually done it legitimately without breaking 115. That's a thing for another day. You somehow, Dad, managed to keep your job.
Yeah, I think I went grovelling to the board and on my hands and knees, and they gave me my job back.
Yeah. You're very, very lucky.
Yeah,
You've got a lot of things now. You've accepted reduced responsibilities.
I mean, losing that... Well, not giving too much... We already know in the cup. I lost that cup game, and I lost that 1-0. I just don't know, and that's what from there on, I was struggling then, really.
Yeah.
It was, a bad game to lose. That's the one I really wanted to do. I set the team I thought to win the cup. I wasn't too worried about the league, and I'll still come second. Even though I wasn't
you were
too
some
worried.
way off though.
But I was a long way, behind. I had a better end of the season to crawl me back into it, really.
I mean, Victor Osman only got 19.
Yeah.
So the change of tactic was maybe too defensive.
Probably was, yeah.
Because your goal difference was only plus 38, and usually you're slapping a high goal difference on there. So if you look at this, you only actually scored 68 goals.
Yeah, and I'm usually way above that now.
Yeah. You conceded the least amount, though. But game by game, Werder Bremen did a lot better with the goals that they managed to score and not. And they actually won 23 games compared to your 19.
So maybe playing the two wingers and the attacking midfielder with one striker is probably where I went wrong.
Yeah.
Which is unusual because I'm usually full out striker.
Yeah. They converted 4 more draws into wins, and that's obviously the points difference between you two.
Well, at least I know where I've gone wrong, and hopefully the club will give me a chance to correct it. So
yeah,
I'm changing that definitely, and then go for it. They've given me a good budget to go for it as well.
If it makes you feel any better,
right?
Duisburg, the team that knocked you out, got relegated as bottom.
I didn't see that.
So
that's even worse.
Does that make you feel better or worse?
Yeah, I'm really. I'm going to go over in the corner and cry now. It's just done me in.
Shouldn't have brought it up, Luke. Just shouldn't have brought it up. Never mind.
Can you get beat by bottom of the league?
In the second round. But there we go. Victor Osman, 24 goals. Cristiano Ronaldo, 24 goals. It's
Christian done the job for me, really. That's what 24 goals, and I put him out in the wing. I'm pleased with that. And he's played 47 games, so
yeah.
He's done well for me, really.
He can still go in for next season.
And his natural fitness is still 19, so he's going to be there again for me next season.
Yeah. James Rodriguez picked up a bit of an injury towards the end of the season, but he's been out for the last few games, but he's been okay this season. You're signing there from your old club.
When you look at that, 2 players in the 20s and no one else in the team. So, that's what I've got. So like you say,
absolutely.
I haven't scored enough goals. No.
Okay, but next season, you've got £118 million to change that.
Yeah.
So let's see whether you can do that. And I've been given just 17 million despite getting to the final of the Champions League. But I think all the right pieces are there for me.
Oh, definitely. You are.
Just need to put them in the right positions. Yeah. That's my trouble. Because I've only got a couple of years left with some of these players, like Di Silvestri. I need to find a bit of form these next couple of years because my midfield and my right back are very old right now. Actually, both my fullbacks are quite old. They're both 33. My midfield's 34. Yeah. Whether I need to raise some money and some funds and find myself a younger centre midfield, I don't know. But I know for sure I definitely can't play this next year. It didn't work how I was intending for it to work.
That's probably the tactic I should have played.
Yeah, I played this so that in the league I'll be better and I wouldn't be as good in the cups. Yeah. And then I got to the final of both cups, winning one of them, and we're nowhere near in the league. It makes no sense to me, and I don't know what's going on. But anyway, I've only got £17 million next season. Goals-wise, 38 from Kylian Mbappe. He is wanted, however, from a number of clubs. I'm not going to sell him. Lautaro Martinez got 31. Villa even got 27 with 19 goals. So that's very good from the young Italian. Or say young, he's 27 now.
19 assists.
With 19 assists.
Yeah.
24 goals from Maxi Gomez, who came off the bench quite a lot. And 14 as well for Barbagallo. So, yeah, it's going forward, lethal.
Yep.
Just I cannot afford to lose that many games again next season. Losing 8 in total and losing against quite a lot of the teams around me, I think, was a problem, as well as you're always going to get a couple of stinkers across the season.
Oh, 100%.
But losing both games against the title winners, Juve, is, if you want to be title contentions, you need to be playing a lot better.
You look at the teams all around you, I did notice you lost against Roma, you lost against Sampdoria, you lost against AC Milan, you lost against Juventus. So you lost against the teams around you, which did cost you the league.
Yeah.
Different than losing against bottom of the league.
Because the rest of the team, Mbappe was the top scorer of the league, but we also had 4 of the top 5 highest average rating.
Yeah.
So that's what it's cost me. So, if there was opportunities, there is an opportunity to go to Inter Milan, but I think I'd be silly to move, as well as Everton, that's in the Premier League, if I wanted to obviously take that up with the Premier League being the only league that I've got left to do, as well as yourself as well. To do. So I can't see us leaving. You've just scraped to get your job back.
I can't
the jaws.
I'm in the best team in Germany, and I need 1 trophy, so I've got to stay there, really.
Yeah.
And with Man United, I did struggle, and they weren't the best team in the country now, and I won't get in the budget. This Bayern are giving me a budget to do it, so I'll be silly to leave.
Yeah. Well, it's all to play for next season.